Hey, it's me, Me, the guys with the five eyes that you see. So, I don't know if you watched the Video Game Awards, because I know I didn't, because I never do. I just only see the reactions, but even this year, I haven't really watched the reactions. But hopefully a lot of people did, because video games, we still need to have that camera on our faces, and we need to reward the developers that actually try to make something good. But anyways, Astrobot won the game of the year this year, and I wanted to say that Astrobot is like a warning and it's like a saving call at the same time, because if these other developers do not look at this game, its development, its gameplay, its game design, if they do not take this game seriously and try to follow it, because the industry loves following trends, all the wrong ones, it's going to spell the death knell for a lot of the industry in the future, even though practically half the positions have been fired by now. But what do I mean by that? See, I remember when I played the first Astrobot game when my brother got his PlayStation 5 for way overpriced, back when you couldn't get one unless you paid $500 extra. I remember thinking to myself, man, this game is really good. I mean, it looks sharp, super clean, super reactive. It was tailor-made for the DualSense 5. It's called the DualSense? Stupid. The Dual Haptic? I forget what it's called. It's too many keywords with this shit nowadays. But anyways, it was tailor-made for the controller, and you know, it also had great sign design. And one of the things I kind of recognized about it is that it was a platformer, but it felt very it felt like Mario Odyssey with a robot. That's the kind of way I would like to describe it. I remember thinking to myself, wow, this is a great game, but this is only like a tech demo-ish for people who get a PS5 to just have a game immediately to play. I was like, this could be bigger. So when they eventually announced the actual game, you know, act like a full-fledged sequel game itself, standalone game, that had let me know PlayStation has a new franchise on its hand, and quite frankly, they have a new mascot. They really should push Astrobot, because this game is something that adults and kids can play alike, and it services everyone's need. And I think that's what the game industry has been missing a lot with games. It seems like there's like 3 categories of games to me, and it's the ones that are kind of like Fortnite and Roblox, where it's most primarily for kids, but adults can have fun with it because there's so much content in it that it's like, okay, we can just join it. The games that present themselves as really serious for adults, but they have horrible mechanics, horrible design, audio. So think of pretty much everything Ubisoft has been putting out lately. And then there are the games which are, you know, the independent games, independent studio games, where they basically pick up the slack that AAA is doing to us. And with the new Astrobot basically being confirmed by most people in the industry as being the best game of the year, it's a warning bell to the rest of the industry, because to me, what Sony has done with Astrobot, it has shown that if you dedicate yourself to making a game designed to be a game. I'm pretty sure you've seen a lot of videos of people talking about this, but I feel like it's designed to be like a content farm. It's designed to be work. You know, you're supposed to play, level up, buy constantly. It never ends. So realistically, the industry has been making games that are not complete products and not complete projects. That's why a game like Suicide Squad failed so miserably, because they really thought that in this universe, this Arkham universe, which is comprised of games that eventually end, they could have a game that can continue on forever. And everyone knows you can't have a story continue on forever. People are going to get bored of that shit. If you've never played Astrobot, I definitely recommend it if you have like a PlayStation 5, or maybe you can get a demo or whatever, because the game is just, it's almost perfect, honestly. It has very intuitive controls because it focuses on the control of the DualSense. It's very beautiful. It's an extremely beautiful game. The game design is on point. It's got great bosses, and it never overwhelms you. You know, it makes you kind of really feel like how we used to feel when we played the platformers on the N64. It's an amazing game, and it's an amazing experience. And Astrobot himself, he's cute, he's cuddly, but he's still extremely violent, you know. And he has a great color scheme. He looks like Ava from Wally's cousin, you know what I'm saying? So they've also got a good mascot, and I think he's the official PlayStation mascot. AAA developers are supposed to give us games like Astrobot. Not everyone has to make a platformer, of course. Not everyone has to make something all about collecting rings and coins, but people want complete experiences, you know, because when this game released, you're not hearing about no patches that come afterward. You know, you're not hearing hearing about it crashing on people and everything like that. This game released and it was there. That's what we've been waiting for the past couple years. You know, it's just been so intense. The industry has just been dropping games on us that they want us to work for. And it's like, no, you work for us, so we pay you, but they just want us to pay them. And I've said in multiple videos before that we have to restrict our money from a lot of these corporations, because I want them to make games like Astro Bot. I want them to make games for us where there's a beginning, there's a middle, there's an end. Because guess what? That's the whole point of making a game with good content in it. That's the whole point of making a game that is so good you play it over again. Because I don't know if the industry has heard of this, but newsflash, we will play this game over and over and over. And again, I know they mostly are doing what they're doing so we can spend on the game over and over, because if we buy the game once and we don't spend on extra content, then you know that's not extra money in our pocket. But that's why you don't sell your soul to the devil, because if you make a game centered around giving a person a good experience and it's something that they could play over again and play with their kid, well, you know, for one, you could re-release on other consoles. Okay, but I don't know how much longer consoles have much left in the tank to keep releasing iterations in the future. So maybe let's say we cut that out. Well, when you produce, for example, merchandise, you know, people are going to want to buy your merch. If you've got like Astrobot, you got a really good character there, people are going to want to buy those plushies, people are going to want to buy those keychains and stuff like that. But if you're acting like Ubisoft, for example, a lot of people aren't going to want to buy a lot of that Assassin's Creed extra stuff, you know, because of how you've been treating us. Even if the game is good, people aren't going to want to buy the comics of that stuff. They're not going to want to buy the official Assassin's Creed Hidden Blade, this and that, because you've turned off your audience because you're so greedy, and with your other games you wanted them to spend on the game versus spending on the universe that you created. And that's a good way to put it. These game developers want us to just spend on the most facetious aspects of the game instead of having us be invested in the universe. Like, even take Dead Space, for example. When Dead Space came out, that game was so cool and scary that when they released a movie, I'm pretty sure a good amount of people bought those movies. I'm pretty sure a good amount of people got interested in those comics. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's tons of examples of franchises that have been released, and because the franchise was so good, when they release other things within that franchise expanding the universe, people invest in the lore. And Astrobot is one of those games that people are going to want to invest in because it's a polished, complete game that touches every facet of gaming that you want in a game. So before I run on and everything like that, my closing statement is this: Sony, take care of the Astrobot franchise. You have something very, very special, and we haven't really seen new IP platformers like this in a long time on the AAA level. And this is not something we're seeing from a lot of other developers, not named Nintendo, because that's Nintendo's bread and butter. Keep making games like this. Keep making new IPs too, because we need new stories. Because I've said before, I love the remakes that we're getting this generation, and it's kind of sad how most of the remade games are also pretty much the best ones we're getting constantly over and over again. We're getting old and we're gonna die someday. And if you guys aren't gonna be dead in 100 years, you guys are gonna need to ramp it up and put out more characters and more worlds for the younger generation to get invested in. Otherwise, they are gonna stick with Fortnite and Roblox and stuff. Because the reason Fortnite and Roblox is so successful, we can even circumvent them having new IPs. They just have new content and new ideas in general. Kids play that because they feel those new experiences. They want something new. They want to grow with something, change with something, develop something. Okay, so we need more IPs and we need more games like Astrobot, because we need more development, we need more evolution in the space, especially since we're getting basically to the end of consoles in general too. Phase more into the PC element of everything, where since computers are basically everywhere, they're in our hands, in our pockets, in our ears, in our eyes, you know what I'm saying? The computer itself, it's everything, right? So it's even consoles. So if we're getting to that point, games are going to be more hands-on, and you're going to need something that can be fresh but can be refreshed, right? Don't be like the rest of the industry and just spoil the freshness. Keep it fresh, let people refresh it, let people grow and add to it and everything. And I think the gaming industry, if it follows the lead, which it may be forced to, whether it likes it or not, we'll be having some better games in the future. So that's all I gotta say. See you guys later.